We have 3 exciting stories for you to watch, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to remain ahead of the competition. Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. Let's begin. As many of you may already be aware, as of today, March 3rd, Adrian Newey is officially the lead designer at Aston Martin. Following an exceptionally successful tenure at Red Bull, he has now shifted his focus to developing the best possible car for the 2026 season. However, one particularly intriguing detail regarding his transition to Aston Martin has emerged. A personal request made by Newey himself regarding his work routine, according to sources. Hey everyone, we have an interesting insight into Adrian Newey's arrival at Aston Martin and a special adjustment made by the team to accommodate his work style at the beginning of this new chapter. The reason for this unusual request was that Newey frequently works late into the night, staying fully immersed in the design process and refining technical details. Rather than going home at odd hours, he prefers to rest at the factory so he can resume his work first thing in the morning without losing momentum. Newey specifically asked the team to set up a sleeping area within Aston Martin's factory. Newey is renowned for his unwavering commitment to automobile development, and this move exemplifies his meticulous attention to detail. His success with numerous championship-winning vehicles has been largely attributed to his ability to envision and improve aerodynamic designs. Acknowledging his diligence, his request has been entirely fulfilled by Aston Martin, who has made sure he has a separate sleeping area within the building. Aston Martin is taking Newey's arrival very seriously, as evidenced by this information obtained by Sky Sports. However, the club has taken other calculated steps to ease his transition, such as offering on-site housing. Additionally, Aston Martin has modified its use of wind tunnels. The team purposefully restricted wind tunnel testing for the first 2 months of the year, January and February, saving as much time as possible for Newey's input. This is a crucial decision because Formula One teams are subject to strict regulations regarding wind tunnel hours. If they exceed this limit, they would be in violation of FIA regulations by delaying early testing. The long-term commitment made by Aston Martin to maximize Newey's influence is demonstrated by their decision to give Newey the most resources possible to influence the development of their 2026 car. Although the 2025 season is already underway, the team is looking ahead and making sure Newey has total creative control over the next generation of their Formula One car. The big question is still how long it will take for Newey's experience to translate into race-winning performance. Even though his impact on Formula One car design is legendary, and this move might revolutionize Aston Martin, establishing a dominant, although Newey's brilliance is undeniable, it might take several seasons before Aston Martin fully benefits from his efforts. Nevertheless, his arrival is a significant declaration of intent, demonstrating that Aston Martin is serious about competing for a championship in the upcoming years. What do you think? We have some interesting news from the Formula One industry, especially with Aston Martin and Ferrari. Are you happy about Adrian Newey joining Aston Martin? Do you think his impact will be felt right away, or will it take some time before we see the results on the track? Make sure to subscribe and enable notifications before delving into the specifics so you don't miss any of our daily updates. If you appreciate this content, please remember to like it to help us out. Adrian Newey officially starts his work as the team's lead designer today, marking a significant milestone in Aston Martin's aggressive strengthening of its technical team by bringing in high-profile hires from rival teams. However, he is not the only major signing the team has made recently. Ferrari's Enrico Cardio is also expected to join Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll as technical director. However, according to the Italian newspaper Corriere dello Sport, things are more complicated than they appear. Despite the team's initial communication, Ferrari is making it difficult for Aston Martin to bring Cardiel in right away. Before beginning work at Aston Martin, Cardiel must adhere to a 12-month gardening leave requirement, which Ferrari is strictly enforcing. If he doesn't, he won't be able to start his new position before July 17th of this year. But Aston Martin is committed to quickening the procedure. According to sources, The team is even using legal professionals to counter Ferrari's position and obtain an earlier release for the vehicle purchase. The cause of this urgency is obvious. In order to build the team's next-generation F1 competitor, Aston Martin wants him to begin working on the 2026 car right once. Working with Adrian Newey over the past few years, teams have stepped up their recruitment efforts to target top engineers and aerodynamicists from rivals in an effort to close the performance gap, and the hiring battle between Aston Martin and Ferrari is just the most recent in a growing trend of high-profile technical staff moves across the grid. Aston Martin, in particular, has been making significant investments in facilities and staff, indicating its intention to challenge for the championship in the upcoming seasons. However, the legal dispute over the vehicle purchase contract demonstrates how teams are tenaciously defending their intellectual property. If Ferrari maintains its position, Aston Martin will have to wait until mid-July before the car deal can formally contribute to the team's car development program. This delay could be crucial because Formula One's 2026 regulations will introduce significant changes to both aerodynamics and power units. A 12-month gardening leave is a common strategy used in F1 to prevent technical secrets from immediately benefiting a rival. Every team is putting in a lot of effort to advance, and while the technical department is changing, having the appropriate people in place early might make a big impact when the new regulations take effect. With Fernando Alonso's contract nearing its expiration, there is still a chance that Aston Martin's renewal would impact its driver lineup in addition to its engineering personnel. Whether he will stay longer or if the organization would look for a younger driver to oversee its upcoming ventures is still up in the air. Although Lance Stroll's position appears to be guaranteed because his father owns the team, it has also been contested, particularly as Aston Martin strives to become a championship-caliber squad. As the sport enters a new era of regulations, the battle for top personnel is getting more intense. Teams are doing everything they can to preserve their competitive edge, and the situation surrounding Cardill's contract dispute is far from over. More behind-the-scenes developments are anticipated in the upcoming weeks. The 2025 Formula One season is quickly approaching, and following preseason testing, one of the main topics of discussion is what's going on with Red Bull. Unlike previous years, the team did not present an overwhelmingly dominant car, at least not to the same level as in previous seasons. But even though the car isn't a total letdown, there are still issues that need to be resolved before the season's first race. The Red Bull situation is especially crucial because it could have a significant impact on Max Verstappen's future if the team is unable to produce a competitive car. Verstappen might give quitting Red Bull some serious thought. After preseason testing concluded last week, Verstappen made his first public remarks about his impressions of the car during the 3 days of running. Here's what he had to say. "I think the direction we're working in is good. We just need to stick to it and see how much we can extract right now. It's still early, and there are many things we're still discussing and wanting to improve, but I like the car, and that in and of itself is a big difference compared to last year. Although the new Red Bull car isn't flawless yet, it is already a step ahead of the model from last year, which gave the team a lot of problems despite their successful campaign." Nevertheless, Verstappen's continued caution about the car's performance suggests that much more work needs to be done before the team can confidently contend for another championship. Newey's aerodynamic knowledge has been crucial to Red Bull's success in recent seasons, and his exit has created a gap that the club needs to address immediately if they are to stay competitive. The opposition team's increasing strength is another important element. If Red Bull struggles with consistency, they may find themselves in a much tighter battle for podiums rather than dominating races as they did in previous years. If early race results fall short of expectations, this is one of the most intriguing storylines leading up to the 2025 season. Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and even Aston Martin have all made significant improvements, and the gap at the top of the grid is expected to be much smaller this season. While Verstappen has a long-term deal with Red Bull, there is no doubt that other teams, particularly Mercedes, are closely monitoring his situation. As the season's opening race draws near, one important question still stands. Will Verstappen have to fight to stay on the podium? Or will Red Bull produce a car that can maintain its dominance? What are your thoughts? Will Red Bull produce a car that deserves a championship, or will they have a difficult season? Give your forecasts.